Hey everyone, ready for a deep dive? Today we're flipping the script on how we think about autism.
Flipping the script.
Yeah, we're talking about autistic empathy.
Oh, interesting.
Specifically, we're going to explore this whole idea of the autistic empath.
Okay.
And to guide us, we've got this awesome article from Cheap ABA. It's called The Power of Autistic Empaths.
Oh, I've heard good things about that one.
Mhm.
It really pushes back against that stereotype that autistic people lack empathy, doesn't
It
it?
totally does, right?
Oh,
It actually says that a lot of people on the spectrum, they don't just have empathy, they might experience it even more intensely.
yeah.
So to kick things off, how does the article define these autistic empaths? Like what sets them apart?
Well, there are a few key things.
Mm.
First, they're super aware of like the emotional temperature in a room,
Hmm.
like they can pick up on tension or joy, even if nobody's really showing it outwardly. It's like almost like having an extra sense.
Wow. Yeah, I can see how that could be both a good thing and maybe a bit overwhelming sometimes.
Totally.
And the article, it also mentions intuition as a big thing, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Autistic empaths, they often have these like really strong gut instincts.
Mm.
It's almost as if they're like tapping into this deeper level of information.
Just not just reading body language or anything, it's something more, right? Like a sixth sense kind of thing.
Exactly. And the article says this ability to sense things so deeply can actually be a real strength. Like imagine being able to understand what someone needs before they even say it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But I'm guessing it's not always easy being so tuned in, is it? I mean, the article talks about some downsides too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a total double-edged sword. On one hand, you have these deep connections. You can, kind of glide through social situations because you're so aware of everything.
Okay, but on the other hand,
Well, imagine constantly absorbing everyone's emotions around you. It's exhausting.
like being an emotional sponge.
Exactly. And then there's the whole boundary thing. Autistic empaths often have a hard time saying no.
Hmm. I can see that. It's like if you feel everyone else's emotions that intensely, it must be hard to put your own needs first.
Yeah. And it could be easy to feel misunderstood, even taken advantage of.
Hmm. So, what's the article's take on that? Like, how do autistic empaths deal with all that?
Well, it uses this really great analogy. It says it's like having this emotional antenna that's always picking up signals, but there's no volume knob.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So then the question becomes, how do you learn to thrive with that kind of intensity?
Okay, so how do you handle that? Like, how do autistic empaths protect themselves when it feels like they're constantly bombarded with everybody's emotions?
Right. Well, the article really stresses the importance of self-care.
Uh-huh.
And not just like, as a nice little extra, but as something essential.
Okay.
Like you have to do it.
Yeah,
It's all about recognizing what you need and then, making time to actually recharge.
that makes sense. So what kind of self-care does it recommend?
Well, all sorts of things, really,
Hmm.
like mindfulness or meditation, spending time out in nature, anything that helps you, you know, just detach from all the emotional noise for a bit.
Yeah, just get some peace and quiet.
Exactly.
I bet that's extra important for people who are also dealing with sensory overload, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Sensory overload's a big deal for autistic people generally,
Mm.
but for empaths, it can be even worse because they're processing so much emotional input on top of everything else.
Right, right.
So yeah, self-care is really key.
Okay, so self-care is a big one. And the article also talks about boundaries, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Which I know can be tough for a lot of people, but especially I'd imagine for people who naturally want to take care of others.
Yeah, and the article makes the point that setting boundaries isn't about being selfish.
Mm.
It's actually about protecting yourself.
Right, because if you're burnt out, you can't really help anyone anyway, right?
Exactly. It's like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly, yeah.
And for autistic empaths who, are prone to feeling all those emotions so strongly, setting boundaries is super important for their well-being.
And I imagine it's not something that happens overnight, right? It's probably a process of figuring out what works for you.
Yeah, totally. It takes practice. It might feel weird at first, but the article emphasizes that it's really worth it.
So it's not just about protecting yourself, it's also about being able to really show up in your relationships in a healthy way.
Absolutely. When you look after your own well-being, you're actually better equipped to help the people you care about.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah, boundaries are huge.
So we've got self-care, boundaries. What about community? The article talks about that too, right? Like the importance of finding your people.
Oh yeah, it says that finding your tribe, people who really get you, is absolutely crucial.
So it's like having that safe space where you can be yourself without judgment or feeling like you have to mask.
Exactly. And for autistic empaths, who often feel misunderstood, finding the community can be life-changing.
And it's especially important when you're dealing with all the, misconceptions around autism, right?
Oh yeah, there's still so much misinformation out there.
Yeah.
It can be really isolating to feel like you're constantly having to explain yourself.
Yeah, totally.
So having those people who just get it, who understand what it's like to experience the world in that way, it makes a huge difference.
Okay, so we've covered self-care, setting boundaries, finding your people,
Hmm.
but the article goes deeper than that, right? It talks about how autistic empathy isn't just about feelings, it's also about intuition.
Yeah, it's about tapping into that inner knowing, that gut
Feeling we all have.
Exactly. But the article suggests that autistic empaths might have a stronger connection to that intuition.
Interesting. So how does that work? Like, is it because of the way autistic people think?
Well, autistic people often pick up on details and patterns that others miss, right?
Hmm.
They're super observant, and they process information differently.
Okay.
So the article argues that this might be linked to their strong intuitive abilities.
So it's like they're seeing the world through a different lens.
Exactly. And that different perspective can lead to some really powerful insights.
Yeah, so it's more than just feeling things deeply. It's also about having this like deeper understanding.
Right, like this ability to see things that others might miss. Yeah, it really highlights how complex autistic empathy is. It's not just about being sensitive to other people's feelings.
Mm.
It's about having this well of intuition and this deeper understanding too.
Okay, in the article, it talks about how to actually use that intuition, right? Because it's one thing to have these insights, but it's got to be hard to actually trust them.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it basically says pay attention to those gut feelings,
Yeah.
even if they don't seem logical at first.
So learn to trust your gut, even if it's telling you something different from what everyone else thinks.
Exactly. And it's just things like journaling, meditation, even just being out in nature as ways to, strengthen that connection with your intuition.
Yeah, just give yourself space to hear those inner whispers, right?
That's it.
But I imagine it's tricky to tell the difference between like genuine intuition and just anxiety sometimes, right?
Oh, definitely. It's a really good point. The article talks about, learning to sort of recognize those different voices in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Like intuition tends to be calmer, clearer, almost like this deep knowing.
Uh-huh.
Whereas fear, that usually comes with a feeling of panic.
Okay, so it's about being able to spot the difference and trust the insights that feel right.
Right. And it says that as you get better at tuning into your intuition, it can actually help you make decisions, solve problems, even navigate relationships better.
That's so cool. It's like having this secret weapon, this inner compass that's guiding you.
Totally. And it really shows how amazing autistic empathy can be.
Mm.
It's not just about feeling things deeply. It's about having this powerful intuition.
Right. It's like a reminder that autism, it's not just one thing. It's this whole spectrum of strengths and ways of being.
Exactly. And I think the article leaves us with this really important message, which is we need to approach autism with curiosity and an open mind
Mm.
and really try to see the world through a different lens.
Yeah, and appreciate those different perspectives.
Absolutely. And, it ends with this thought-provoking question for everyone. So, what do you think about this whole idea of autistic empathy? How might it change how you interact with others?
It's like a challenge to look at our own assumptions about empathy, right?
Right.
Because maybe we haven't been seeing the whole picture.
And maybe there are other ways of connecting with people that we haven't even considered.
It's really about celebrating the diversity of human experience, isn't it?
It is. It's about opening our hearts and minds to ways of being that are different from our own.
Yeah, beautifully said. And for anyone who wants to learn more, we'll include a link to the full article in the show notes.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah.
It's full of amazing insights and practical advice, both for autistic people and for, anyone who wants to understand them better.
Mhm. So keep exploring, keep learning, and keep connecting.
Because the more we understand neurodiversity, the better our world becomes.
Well said. And that's it for this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us.